We have a national flag.
My dazzling keynote speaker, distinguished Toastmaster William Lim, my sparkling timer Utkarsha Vaidya, my speaker number 2 Taksha, my scintillating question answer moderator, and my fellow Toastmasters. I, Milind Plakar, welcome you all to the meeting number 704 of club number 1254322, the Speech Weavers Toastmasters Club, Bangalore. Our mission is to provide supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Toastmasters have helped people from diverse backgrounds to become more confident communicators and leaders. I request you all to uphold the cardinal principle of every Toastmasters meeting. Number 1, to mute your audio of your mobile phone, and I give you 5 seconds for that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And of course, your audio microphone at all times, and unmute it as and when you are invited to speak. And keep your video on at all times unless you're moving in and out of the room. As an encouragement to every role takers and speakers, make sure to applaud them virtually. Role takers and speakers will consciously refrain from expressing their views on sex, politics, and religion to ensure the sentiments of audience are not hurt. Now it's time to welcome our club president. His motto in life is discipline, sincerity, dedication, and excellence. And with that spirit, he excelled in every field. And for that achievement of his as a professional civil engineer in Saudi Arabia, he successfully completed multiple projects, and especially one of the most important multi-billionaire project of the desalination plant. And for that inauguration, the King of Saudi Arabia had come and had shook hands with our club president. So please join me in welcoming our club president, Toastmaster Joseph Rick Benedict.
Thank you, DTM Milanji, for this wonderful address of yours with welcoming. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Toastmasters, distinguished Toastmasters, and my dear honorable guest. In a special way, I acknowledge the speaker of today, who is all the way from Singapore, will be introduced by our event chair in course of time. I welcome every one of you for the Speech Weavers Club, where you will learn and also be entertained with this educational session, as well as prepared speeches and so on and so forth, with all the talent of speakers and role takers. You will have a wonderful time in today's meeting. I would like to say that Toastmaster is a fraternity club. When you say fraternity, it is a family. When you say family, it is the woman, the mother, who is more important in a family. As they say, when a mother is educated, the whole family is educated. With that concept, I am speaking about women empowerment. In today's world, women empowerment is necessary for the economic growth. The low participation of women in the workforce is a major hindrance in overall development of a nation. Our country is going to be a $5 trillion economic, and therefore a more active participation of women in all areas would be helpful in achieving this goal. Our President Murmu rightly pointed out that she needs to create an environment where all women can fully participate and contribute in the socio-economic, cultural, and political spheres significantly. The very nomination of a woman president is one good example that will lead to many more in times to come. We already have many testimonies to indicate that women are flying in space, taking leadership in armed forces, flourishing in its industry, IT industries, participating and winning trophies in Olympic and various sports as well as IPL matches, playing cricket, practicing in football, participating in football, and more and more. The woman in the entertainment industry has a great contribution in winning Oscar Award. And beauty contest, another that India makes history very often. On the other hand, we still find they are being victim in the workplaces. Domestic violence, stalking, and great atrocities such as rape and murder must be drastically eroded, and the predator and punitive measures have to be, the law shall be implemented without delay. Then only India will be able to make overall progress. Various schemes by the central government in addressing these issues and more, when concerted efforts to culminate such issues from education to the career, the government is trying to remove all obstacles by gender separation in all levels of improvement for women's progress. We hope our nation be a good example for honoring women, in particular which we inculcate from our ancient books such as Vedas and epics that teaches us how to honor women. Above all, motherhood is the greatest contribution of women on this earth. With this, I conclude, and it is time for me to ask our event chair. He is the founder of Finances, an offline come online step-up that offers and advises on all financial products. He is also the director of Deep Pockets Technologies Private Limited. He loves to read books, articles, watch and write about football, and finally loves to explore new ideas for a venture. Let us with great applause. We will ask Toastmaster Adarsh Krishna. Over to you, Toastmasters Adarsh Krishna.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Joseph. It is my privilege to be the event chair at today's meeting. And we have a lot of interesting things to talk about during today's meeting. One of which is that of a very good keynote speaker that we've had at our club in the past. And I've had the privilege of having him at our meeting today. Now I'll get to that bit in a very brief moment. But before we get started, I would like to introduce our timer for this meeting. The timer for this meeting is Toastmaster Utkarsha. Utkarsha is actually an aircraft maintenance graduate that resides in Amaravati, Maharashtra. Her hobbies include reading, traveling, and cooking. And she's representing the Gabby's Toastmasters Club as the Sergeant of Arms this term. So it's good to have you at our club. And I'd like to hand it over to you to introduce yourself as the timer for this meeting.
Thank you so much, Adarsh, for that lovely introduction. As a timer, my role is to take down the timing required by each speaker So for the speakers, for the prepared speech, the time allotted is 5 to 7 minutes. So at 5 minutes, I will show green card. At 6 minutes, I will show yellow card. And at 7 minutes, I will show red card. And for the keynote speaker, the timing allotted is 20 minutes. So at 18 minutes and 19 minutes and 20 minutes, I'll show green, yellow, and red card. For the evaluators, the time allotted is 2 to 3 minutes. So at 2 minutes and 2 minutes and 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and at 3 minutes, I'll show green, yellow, and red card. And at the end of the meeting, I'll be sharing my report. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for that incredible introduction, Toastmaster Utkarsh. It's an amazing thing to have you at our club. We cannot wait to hear you present your report as part of today's meeting. Now, quickly going ahead, we have a very interesting speaker amongst us today, and he goes by the name of William Lim, and he is a distinguished Toastmaster. And Toastmaster Joseph had actually shared this amazing introduction of him. It was so long that I had a very hard time condensing it. And generally, what I do is when I get such a massive intro, I try to sort of reduce it to as fewer lines as possible. But this is one abnormal occasion where I was not able to remove a single sentence from the introduction. So I'm going to go ahead and read the entire introduction. So please bear with me. DTM William Lim joined Toastmasters in 1995 and won countless championships on humorous speaking contest, speech evaluation contest, table topics contest, international prepared speech contest. He loves public speaking and has expressed his learnings in his best-selling books, which include Are You With Me?, How to Get the Message Across and Win Them Over, as well as an instant guide for instant speaker. Being a trainer and speaker since 1996, he has touched the hearts of thousands of people and has transformed numerous lives, and he has made them successful businessmen as well as public speakers. William is able to trigger the emotions of his audiences, and he's able to motivate them and take them to another level altogether. Since 2010, he has retired from contests, and instead he has focused his attention on nurturing champion speakers from various clubs, assisting them on their club contests, district contests, as well as any international contest for the matter. Now, this is introduction. This is a DTM William Lim in a nutshell, and today is going to be presenting on a very interesting topic called how we can actually do better in our public speaking contest. And the title of the keynote speech is Secrets in Winning Speech Contest. Secrets in Winning Speech Contest. Over to you, DTM William.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. A very good evening, fellow Toastmasters, ladies and gentlemen. How are you today? Good? Great, fantastic. Well, I'm here to share with you how to make your speech even more powerful so that people want to listen to you. And then you are able to surface as one of the champions. Is that all right for you? Well, most of us, we are able to speak. We join Toastmasters, we learn from Toastmasters, but then again, when some of us went through the whole process, yes, we learn how to speak, but then again, what we know is only how to write a speech that has an opening, a body, and a conclusion. But then again, how to make this speech so powerful that people want to listen to you. That's why when people start coming in and they say, oh, I know how to prepare my speech, I know how to prepare my opening, my body and conclusion, and I'm able to speak in public. But is that really what the audience wants to hear from you? Because a person who come out as a worker, or probably come out as a baby when they start to go to school, they got to learn how to speak, and then from there they go out to work and they learn more how to speak. But then again, are they speaking in a way whereby you are able to get that message across and win your audience over? There are a lot of people who can speak, yes, but then again, there's a lot of people who has verbal diarrhea as well, because whenever they open the mouth, every bad things will come out from the mouth, and sometimes it stinks. You don't even feel like talking to that person. How many of you have actually experienced that? Show of hands, please. Someone that you don't really want to speak to because when they open their mouth, verbal diarrhea just came out. So what we need to learn is how to have a mindful thinking on how to get your message across to win someone over. Okay. Now, for crafting of speech, we know that there's an opening, there's a body, and there's a conclusion. True or true? Yes? Now, which part do you start writing your script? Which is most important? The opening, the body, and the conclusion. You can type in the chat box which one you feel that is most important to write your speech. The opening, the body, and the conclusion. You got it? Opening, okay, I got body, and what else? I got conclusion as well. Okay, most of you actually say conclusion. Good. There's no right or wrong. Okay, there's no right or wrong. It's up to individuals' preference because they are not taught on how to craft a powerful speech. All right, let me share with you. Now, when you want to deliver a speech, you already know in your mind what you want to talk about. Is that true? Now, when you know what you want to talk about, that means you already know your opening and your closing, because that is the objective that you want them to go along with you. True? So what you basically need to do, the most important thing is to focus on the body of the speech itself. Look into the body of the speech, give 3 good pointers and so on, so that people will buy your ideas. So once you are able to do that, prepare the body of your speech properly, and then next comes the opening. The opening itself, you need to learn how to make it powerful so that people want to listen to you from the very beginning of the speech. Right? So once you're able to do that with the opening, the conclusion itself, you can add impact into it so that you are able to move your audience. Got the tips now? Yes? Now, always focus on the body of the speech first, and then the opening and the closing. Now, to most of you, you think that, well, everybody talking about the opening, the body, and the conclusion. But then again, how do you actually craft it so that people want to listen to you? There are 14 different ways of writing a speech, which I actually come out in my book itself. 14 different ways. But I'm not going to share with you every single way because some of it is good for table topic championship. Well, if let's say you're looking into things like international speech contests, which you guys will be handling it soon, probably the next few months. So you want to practice these 2 ways of writing a speech. Now, the first way of writing a speech. How many of you love stories? Show of hands, please. Good. Now, I believe most of you have actually heard of 3 Little Pigs, Red Riding Hood, Goldilocks and the 3 Bears. True? Agree? And you still remember, even though you heard it when you're very young, you still remember the story. Maybe not in full, but then again, you are able to know what are the major events happening over there. Agree? Now, story itself actually able to connect with the audience easily because most of us love to listen to stories. And therefore, story is the best way, is one of the best way to get your message across. Now, but then again, don't deliver a story based on just a story alone. What your audience wants to learn most of the time is, what can we learn from the story? So if you are able to use a fable or stories, fairy tale or anything, or probably you can even come up with your own stories, that's good. use that stories and make sure that there is a moral of the story at the end of it. Something that your audience will learn. Because once you are able to tell that story and you can able to tell your audience that the moral of the story itself is probably how we are learning today as a script writer. And then, or whatsoever reason that you want to pass on to them, then your audience would buy your idea and wanted to know more or whatsoever right after the speech to talk to you. Now, stories itself is very powerful. I have actually done quite a few stories telling on bringing historical person back to life. And when I bring them back to life itself, I pretend that I'm that person. Then again, I need to remember almost all the script that they have said during their lifetime. So I craft it as a story, and I'm able to deliver that message and tell them at the end of it, what is the moral of the story itself? How this person actually done great things for the country or for the human race. So I wanted everyone to embrace him and learn from him so that we can actually have a better world. So there are messages that you can actually bring through as a story, and it is very important, especially when people love stories. And if you are able to tell that stories, it's beautiful. I've done another story on Christopher Columbus. I enact how he lived his life from teenage all the way to how he get the money, the funding to serve, to actually sail to the other side of the world. Because last time they thought that the world is flat. So that end of the sea itself is they are going to fall to their death. So I use that story to tell them a very strong message. So people love stories, and that stories actually brought me to a few championship. So stories itself actually sells. So learn how to be a storyteller. If you want to be a good storyteller, this is what you do. Don't just do it among your peers. Don't just do it in your club. Volunteer yourself to actually speak to a group of children. Now, the reason why I'm telling you this is very simple, because for adults like us, if we heard the story and we feel bored, we feel sleepy over it and so on, we can actually go to sleep, or we'll pretend that our handphone is ringing and we go out of the room, or we can just switch off our whatsoever thing and so on, and then just pretend that we got something else better to do. Okay. Some of them will just listen to you blankly while you're telling the story. Therefore, you will not actually get good feedback. But then again, on the other hand, if you are able to speak to a group of children, and if you are able to capture their attention, then you are definitely a very, very good storyteller. I volunteered myself in the National Library to do story for the children, okay, aged between 4 to 12. This is the best age, because if you are really boring, you'll see that the children will start running around, fighting, playing with each other, shouting at each other, and so on. No one wants to listen to you. But then again, if you are able to do a story that is so good that all the children will just sit down, listen to you, on top of that, sitting nearer and nearer to you, and some of them even want to sit on your lap while you're telling the story, then you have actually won. It's half a battle won. So once you are able to get those kind of response from children, my friend, the adults will love you too. Because children won't lie, but adults do. So learn to tell stories to children. Practice yourself among children, and then you'll know how good you are in storytelling. All right. Now, the second way of writing a speech that's so powerful that you are able to capture the audience is my girlfriend Ida. Now, the reason why I say my girlfriend Ida is because that AIDA itself is spelled as A-I-D-A, AIDA. Now, AIDA itself is a way I craft a speech to be very persuasive and motivating. All right. AIDA, the first A itself meant attention. You need to grab the attention of your audience itself. Then the I is interest. You need to learn how to arouse the interest of your audience. D is desire. Create that desire within the audience itself so that they would want to do what you want them to do. Got it so far? And the last A itself is calling for action. All right, the last A is calling for action. So the first A is attention, I, interest, D, desire, A, action. Now, how do you actually craft a speech like such? Now, it actually got its opening, the body of the speech, and the conclusion. Now, how do you actually capture the speech, the audience itself when you're doing the speech? For example, you may want to say, failing to plan is planning to fail. What if I told you that you are able to retire 10 to 15 years earlier if you were to plan ahead of time? Got it? Now I got your attention. I aroused your interest. And then from there itself, I'm able to go on to the desire, to create that desire so that your audience will want to follow you through while you're speaking to them. And at the end of it, you can straight away tell them, say, so I urge every single one of you to start planning today. Not tomorrow, but today. Okay. So these are the things that you can actually arouse the interest of your audience so that they want to listen to you. Now, you can also talk about paternity leave if you want to. Okay, using that AIDA method. All right. You can tell them, say, women suffer so much carrying the fetus in their body for that 10 months. The suffering that they have can be changed to a better way when the husband care for them during their pregnancy and right after their pregnancy. Now, this is how a husband should do. So you give them the desire. After that, what are the things that the husband need to do? And then you tell them, say, I would strongly encourage every single husband to start loving your wife because of so much that they have actually went through with you. Now, these are the things whereby you can actually play with it. How to make that AIDA format a way whereby you can actually craft your speech even much more stronger. Got it so far? Yes? So these two ways will definitely give you a better chance of winning a championship. All right, because you are more logical right now, you are more systematic with what you want to deliver, and the message itself will be even much more stronger. Now, when I'm sharing with you this and so on, what came into my mind are all pointers, because I've actually practiced so much that everything that comes to my mind are all pointers. Okay, it has never been a paragraph. When I first started writing a speech itself, it's paragraph by paragraph, the opening, the closing, and so on, paragraph by paragraph. But then again, when I start realizing it, that writing in paragraphs sometimes make me nervous as well, because I'm trying to remember word by word from the paragraph. And what if, let's say, I've forgotten one of the words? I will be totally blank. I can't speak at all. So how am I going to deliver my speech? There's no way. Yeah. But then again, when I start learning, is that we craft our speech, we practice our speech. But then again, how many of us actually give that script to our evaluators? How many? Anyone? No, huh? None, right? So why are you so afraid? You don't even need to come up with paragraphs and so on. Okay. Yes, you may first started it off with paragraph. And then after the paragraph itself, what you basically need to do is that use a highlighter to highlight the important points. Okay. From the important points itself, you just remember the important points you do. As you deliver your speech, just remember to deliver the point that you want to deliver. What if you've forgotten 1 or 2 points in your speech itself? What if you've forgotten the point? Don't worry. Okay, that's why I say the evaluators, the judges, and so on don't have your script at all. So even if, let's say, you've forgotten 1 point or so or 2, it doesn't matter. Okay, it doesn't matter. Just carry on with what you want to deliver. And as you deliver, if the points come back to you and you can still link it back to your message, then do that, or else forget about it. Or else forget about it, because the thing is that you are going to make yourself holding crutches and so on, and you are unable to speak well. So don't be worried of things that you can't remember. Now, there's one way whereby I usually do when I'm delivering a speech and so on. If, let's say, I tend to forget, because at times I deliver speech from morning 8 a.m. all the way to nighttime 8 p.m. Okay, when I'm doing intensive training. Now, at times I will tend to forget certain part of it as well. So this is one of the way that you can actually use as well, okay, if you've forgotten your speech. All right, how many of you want to learn that? Okay, good. Now, if you are delivering a speech and so on, for example, you tell them, say, oh, learn so-called remembering by the acronyms itself, let's say WIFE, W-I-F-E. Okay, so you say W is working, I is the interest, F is the family, and then E is the education. But somehow or the other, you've forgotten some part of it. After W and I, you've forgotten what is F and so on. So what you can do, if you've forgotten about it, is that you just throw the question to the audience. So guys, what do you think F is about? Then you keep quiet, throw that question to them, keep quiet, let them answer you. So while they answer you, you start thinking, what is F about? Got it? So while they are throwing back the answer to you, if it hits the target, family, good. Then you say, yeah, you're right. Can we give him a round of applause? Then you carry on with the word family, and then you explain further. Okay. If, let's say, nobody gets it right, and you start thinking about it, and you got your answer, you tell them, say, no, my actual answer is supposed to be family. Okay, but anyway, good try. Give yourself a round of applause. Then from there itself, everybody actually enjoy because they get connected with you. Yeah. So there are ways whereby you can actually play around to become a champion. Okay. The first important thing is that get yourself relaxed. Presentation skills itself is not learned instantly. You can't do that. It takes years to be crafted out. Just like a diamond itself, you need to keep polishing it until it becomes a diamond, a shining diamond that is so expensive and so precious. So ladies and gentlemen, in our course of learning itself, always remember this. To start, you don't need to be good, but to be good, you need to start. And today is the right time that you start to learn how to craft your speech so that you will become one of the champion one of these days. And I'll see you at the top. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
A round of applause to DTM William. There's no better time to work on crafting a speech than now. Now is the time for you to step up and pick up that piece of paper and that pen, or in case if you are more eco-friendly, then maybe you can open your laptop and you can start crafting your speech after opening a Microsoft Word document. Because this is one of those times where we are very, very close to the contest season. And it's a wonderful time to understand those areas where we are supposed to improve, and also sort of understand those areas where we are doing well. And we have to open ourselves up to those areas of improvement, and we have to work on the opening, the body, and the closing. Focus on the story, as DTM Williams said, and also focus on that closing note of yours. So these things play a crucial role, but all of us have a bunch of questions from today's meeting. And that's the reason why we have a designated question and answer moderator who goes by the name of Toastmaster Nadian Selvin. Nadian Selvin is actually the Area 31 Director at District 117, Division B. He's also a director, again, that is in North Carolina, the US. He's a coach of a very prestigious club, our club, Speech Weavers Toastmasters Club. He's a senior technical leader at Cisco Systems. And to describe him, I would say he is someone that has been consistently taking up roles at our club and has been doing an incredible job. Be it any role for that matter, he can take it up and he can do a great job. And here we have Toastmaster Nadian Selvin, our question and answer moderator, who will be posing questions to our esteemed keynote speaker, DTM.
Thanks a lot, Adarsh, the event chair. Thanks, William, sir. You not only educated us on how to give a winning speech, your speech itself emulated that. Thank you so much for an excellent speech with many good tips.
Thank you.
Thank you. Before I go to audience, the questions from the audience, I'm keen to know about your book. You mentioned about your book. Can you give just some quick pointer on where can we get the book and what the book is about? A very quick pointer, please.
Okay, I actually have it on the website, and then because it's oversold and so on, it's in the midst of printing right now. Okay, so if you guys are keen and so on, you can drop me a note, and then I'll let you know once the print is out.
Okay.
Yeah, and then where to get it and so on.
Sure. Thank you, sir.
No problem.
There is a question from others, and later to some extent you kind of address that as well. The main thing is about what would be an interesting way to start a speech, because if we lose them in the beginning, then we lose them almost for the whole speech. So we need to grab their attention. So
Yes.
what is a good way to grab it quickly?
Okay, that's why I said, when you want to deliver a speech and so on, basically you already know what kind of message that you want to deliver to your audience. Okay, whether is it to discourage them or to encourage them, right? And then the pointers and so on. Now, once you got your body of the speech all done up and so on, okay, what you basically can do is, from the opening itself, you can go and look for good quotes from famous people. Okay, like for example, the quote I use on failing to plan is planning to fail. Okay, that quote itself also from some famous people as well. So you can go and look for quotes which gels together with your speech to open your speech itself. Yeah. So that one of it is that. The other way of doing speech itself is that you want to be connected with your audience. So when you want to be connected with your audience, immediately what you need to do, you need to have response from your audience itself. Okay. So instead of just doing quotes or just do your speech as in good afternoon this, good afternoon that, this and that and so on, straight away you tell them, okay. Sometimes I take it as a joke as well to actually have fun with them. I said, okay, can I have a show of hands? How many of you are here for the first time? Okay, then I get response, and then from there itself, so long as you get response and so on, you are connected with your audience. Okay, if you want to have some game with them, you can also put down there is that, okay, can I have a show of hands? How many of you came here because you heard of the speech that this person is delivering? Okay, and how many of you didn't know that you are actually here for this speech? And how many of you are being hijacked to come here? So when you put that across and so on, how many are being hijacked to come here and so on, people will laugh. Okay, so when the laughter itself is also a connection with the speaker. So once you are able to do that, once you get the connection and so on, then when you deliver a speech, it's so much easier because you're all connected. Now, the thing is that a lot of speakers, when they went into competition and so on, they are so tense. They are so tense, they are not relaxed. So once they step up right in front of the audience and so on, they will usually say, good afternoon, honorable judges, fellow Toastmasters, ladies and gentlemen, and then they start their speech. Now, when they do that, it's not wrong, okay? It's not wrong. But then again, you are not connected to the audience. You only read them. They are not responding to you. So sometimes while you are speaking and so on, you start seeing people folding their arm and so on while listening to you because they are not connected to you. But once you want them to feel connected to you, you need to actually engage them. Engage them or give them some quotes that they are able to relate to, some wisdom quote that they heard it, they say, wow, this guy is good, I need to listen. Okay, that's why sometimes I play things with them and tell them from the very beginning itself, okay, what if I told you you can change your life instantly and earn a 5-figure income US dollars every month, okay, after 5 years for the rest of your life? Now, when you throw those kind of so-called sentences and so on, people want to listen to you. You see, wow, you mean I'm able to earn 5 digits a month after 5 years and so on? If I listen to you right now, I will listen to you. So it all depends on how you craft your speech to make it so powerful that people want to listen to you. That's why you must engage with your audience, okay? Either by words, by body language, or your vocal variety when you engage your audience. All right? There are definitely more ways to do that connection as well.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, back
Yes,
to you.
we got
Yes.
a good many number of inputs from you, and we have good many number of questions.
Good,
from
come.
the
I'll do whatever I can to help.
Thanks a lot, sir. There is a question from Milind, sir. It is about for winning an ISC contest, whether a tragic story where someone lost a family member or a close friend, kind of a thing is needed, or whether it should have continuous set of humor with series of humor coming in a regular interval or something, so that the audience enjoy it and they are fully engaged. Which one is kind of very effective, whether any of this is very much needed?
Okay, that's a very good question. Now, humor itself, you need to use it in a manner whereby it's appropriately placed so that you can actually connect with the audience to make them laugh or to make them really think about it and so on. Okay, but sometimes humor in snippet of it and so on may not actually be a good speech. So humor, you need to keep on practicing to know how to actually get connected with the audience. Yeah, certain things whereby you can make them laugh. Okay, because when people laugh and so on, they remembers what is it all about. So it's a good way of doing it. But on the other hand, if let's say you're talking about doing a story that is sad and so on tragic, on accident or anything and so on, this is also a good way of delivering your message. Okay, it's a good way, because the thing is that if you are able to make your audience cry and laugh with you, you won most of the case. I've done a speech before on what I can. Let me see, let me try to recall the speech title. Yeah, the speech title itself is "Don't Wait." Okay, speech title is Don't Wait. So when I deliver the speech and so on, I actually share with them a story that actually happened in 2010. Okay, in the middle of the night and so on. And my mother actually passed away that night. Okay, so I actually share with them what actually happened. Okay, as she passed away and so on, what I did. Okay, I actually carry her all the way to look for taxis and so on, and then to bring her to the hospital. So when at the hospital and so on, she's being pronounced dead and so on. Okay, and things happen, life change, things happen and so on. Therefore, at the end of the story and so on, I told the audience, don't wait till too late, or else you'll regret for the rest of your life. If you love your family and so on, love them compassionately, okay, without asking for anything else. Just love them. Love them while they are alive and not while they are dead. Give as much love as possible to your members. Now, that story itself, when I was doing that stories, my whole audience actually cried with me. All right, because something that they can relate to. Because every one of us, we have mother. All right, every one of us, we have father as well. So in 2014, when I delivered another speech, it's about my father, the death of my father itself. So I tell them, say, that story itself, if I'm not wrong, the title is someone with straight face doesn't mean they don't love you. Okay, because you know, father is always having straight face and so on. They hardly play with you. All right, because they want authority and so on. So I share with them how my father loved me and so on, even though she's having a straight face and so on, how much he taught me and so on and so forth. And I told them, say that love your father. Okay, even though he's very tough on you, love him. Those kind of message. Well, this kind of message can actually bring tears to the eyes of the audience, because every single one of us have father or mother. Okay, we have our grandparents and so on. Something that we can relate to, something that you are able to touch the heart of your audience via that kind of situation. And then you'll be able to make them cry together with you, and then you deliver your motivational message, or your message to tell them to tell them what you want them to do. Yeah, so both is good, whether is it humorous or something that actually touches the heart. All right, back to you.
Thank you, especially with good and interesting examples. Thank you so much, sir. We are kind of running out of time, or we ran out of time, but still there are multiple questions which have flowed in as well. Probably I'll just mention that, and you can help addressing that. One is, what are the learnings a beginner can implement? Because there are a lot of secrets and tips you shared. And when somebody is a beginner, what are the specific things you feel as most impactful? This is a question from Shubi.
Okay. For beginners and so on, I would always recommend them to speak from the heart. Okay, that is very important. Speak from your heart itself, something that you have actually experienced and you have learned from it. And then because of your learning itself, it's easier for you to get the message across, because you are actually speaking with sincerity from your heart itself when you're sharing this. So with that itself, it's easily to connect with your audience with those kind of message, rather than trying to search high and low in libraries and so on for information, or even in newspaper for information that you just want to bring it across to your audience. Try not to do that, because the thing is that if you have actually read something and you don't really so-called agree with it, and you want to deliver that message, your audience can feel it. And when your audience feel it and so on, you will not be able to actually get connected with the audience or win the audience heart. So it's always good to speak from the heart itself, from your own experience, when you're sharing with your audience as a beginner itself. Because as you practice that and so on, slowly your mind start to think how to make that speech even much better and connect with other speech and so on, so that it become a much powerful speech. Okay.
Thanks a lot, sir. That's a very good tips. And also there is a request. You already shared a lot of inputs. I think probably it came in a bit ahead of time. Any other secret tips for winning a speech contest?
Okay. The most important secret is practice, practice, practice. Okay, and make sure that it's the right practice. Don't practice wrongly, because wrong practice give you wrong result. So practice correctly. Okay, get a few friends who knows you, or if you can't do that, what you do is that you take your own handphone and so on to video capture yourself while you are doing your presentation. Capture it because you know yourself best. And then through that, you'll be able to know what are the things that you can actually improve on. All right. If you have a spouse, it's even better. You get your spouse to listen to your speech. Okay. You want to torture her or whatsoever, it's up to you. Get her to listen to your speech. And then from there itself, let her feedback to you what is good, what is bad, and then how you can actually improve from there. Okay. So always practice, because practice don't make perfect. There's no perfection in this world, but practice will definitely make you better and better each day. Yeah. So just practice.
Thanks a lot, sir. Indeed, a very, very good point. You mean whatever speech we are giving in the contest, that you want us to practice a lot, or you want us to practice a lot on giving speech, and then because if we overdo it, if we keep on practicing for a very long time, then some of the emotions we are pitching in, it could get softened out, right?
True. Agree. Now, if you are talking about trying to get the fear out of yourself and so on, so that you are able to deliver naturally, that itself you need practice. But then again, you need to practice with a different platform. Don't just practice within your club itself. Okay?
Amazing.
Because the thing is that if you only do the speeches in your club and so on, one of these days you are so close to all your club member that there's no fear at all. But once you step out of it and face a different audience, the fear will start coming to you again. So I got to learn that when I was doing my project 4 back then, my first 4 project. On my project 4 itself, I was telling myself, say that, hey, I need to do something about it. Because the thing is that if I'm delivering to my audience and so on, and this big group of people know me so well, I will not be able to learn anymore. So I start going from club to club to club to club to do different speeches, okay, on all my different projects and so on, and then listen to different evaluators that doesn't go out of the club before and so on. So you went down there, you listen to them, they are able to give you good feedback. And you also get to experience different platforms. Some have stage, some no stage, some is actually classroom style and so on, some is actually open space style and so on. So you get to experience different kind of setup. And with that itself, you will be able to eliminate your whole fear when you are doing delivery. But then again, eliminating your whole fear itself is one thing. While you are doing that, okay, always remember to evaluate yourself while you're doing any speeches and so on. That's why I always carry a video recorder back then to record every single speech that I deliver. And then I will just watch it over and over again and tell myself that I need to improve on certain thing. And then how am I to improve? So I'll start thinking, okay, how to make it even better and how to make it even much more powerful. Okay, so from there itself, it's good to do a self-evaluation, because sometimes evaluators who don't know you, they criticize you, or probably they did not give you a good feedback and so on. They will only say that, oh, you're good in this, and there's no feedback on how to improve. Basically, you can't improve yourself. So it's always good to have a video camera, or right now, just your own phone itself, capture you presenting. You'll be able to learn a lot from yourself, how to improve yourself, so that you become the better speaker at any time. Keep on improving. Okay, so those are the things that you need to really look into if you are eliminating your whole fear. But then again, if you're talking about practicing the speech itself for the championship, then it is good that you practice, because while you practice and so on, you will come to think about it. Hey, I can add on certain thing to make it more powerful. And then you add. When you add, you practice again to make sure that the timing is right while you're delivering the speech. And then from there itself, while you're practicing and so on, you say, hey, I may not be connecting with the audience. I need something to connect with the audience. And then you do something about it, and then you practice again. Right now, you need to learn how to connect with the audience. So practice, but then again, don't just blindly practice, but practice in a way to find new improvement for your speech so that you are able to win that championship. Because once you move into the international level, okay, one speech is not enough. Your champion speech is not enough. You need to prepare another 2 more speech. Okay, you need to prepare 2 more speech while you go into the international level. So while you are delivering that speech and you win, you need to actually fight on the regional level. Then from there itself, the international level and so on. So you need to prepare another 2 more speech at least while you are doing when you are going into international level of competition. So always have a few speech ready, okay, at any time, so that whenever you need to deliver, or probably someone drop out from the speaking slot itself, just jump in and straight away do your project. Okay, don't waste time. Just keep on practicing if you can. Always prepare with a few more speeches. I always prepare at least 10 speeches ahead, so that whenever I'm there and someone say that, hey, this speaker is not coming today, I say, okay, can I take the slot? So while I'm doing evaluation and so on, I will take a slot as well. I'll present as well, because the evaluator over there will be a waste of his time or her time if, let's say, he has no one to evaluate on. Okay, so okay, can I take the slot, and I'll do the delivery. So when I deliver, okay, I'll always request, let me be the first person to deliver, so that I got more time for the speaker to evaluate on. Okay, so always prepare yourself in advance. Okay, plan with an end in mind, what you want to do, who you want to become, and how you want to achieve your dreams. All right.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Your session was one of the best, and Q&A session was definitely better than the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you
for addressing all our questions.
Is that all the question? Or you still have more question? If you have more question, okay, if you have more question, what I can suggest is that, all right, I'll stay through with all of you throughout the whole meeting itself. At the end of the meeting itself, if you have any question, I'll just answer them. Is that good for you?
Thank you.
Because I want to make sure that all you guys will be a champion. Yeah. Okay.
Definitely.
Right. Okay. So I'll sit along with you throughout the whole meeting itself. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
All the best.
Thank you so much for thought-provoking questions from the team as well. And definitely William sir addressed it in a very good manner, and I definitely liked even Q&A session even better than his keynotes address. Thank you so much, sir. One more round of applause, and we are grateful to you. Now back to you, event chair Adarsh.
A round of applause to DTM, William Lim. Thank you very much for enlightening us with your keynote speech. As the contest season is nearing, I'm sure all of us are looking for ways to do better compared to what we did the previous time. And for people that are doing it for the first time, well, all the best, because there's no better time to improve yourself than now, without a doubt. A round of applause to DTM William, as well as our Q&A moderator, Toastmaster Nadia, and thank you for those amazing questions. Now, of course, DTM William will be staying back, as he said, to answer your questions towards the end of the meeting. But there's one thing that is There's one thing on the agenda that's pending, and that is the prepared speech session. Now, the reason why we have a prepared speech session is pretty simple. We are falling back on our TCP codes. That's the reason why I've taken it up as the Vice President Education of this club to see to it that we deliver our speeches. We have two interesting speakers in today's meeting. We have our very own President, Toastmaster Joseph Felix Benedict, and we have Toastmaster Taksha, who will be delivering her speech as well. Now the evaluator for the first speaker is Toastmaster Neha. I'm not exactly sure as to where Toastmaster Neha is joining us from, but I know that she's a Toastmaster and she has been in our club before and she has evaluated before. And from what I remember, she was a very enthusiastic evaluator. And I felt the need to invite her last week to play a role. And this week, I couldn't resist the opportunity of inviting her, although I knew that the role that I invited her for was not there at today's meeting. Thank you very much for joining us, Toastmaster Neha. Neha, I would like you to state the project objectives of Toastmaster Joseph's speech.
Thank you for inviting me here, Toastmaster Adarsh. The project objective of my target speaker is to deliver a speech using a story within the speech or giving a speech that is a story itself. He will be attempting his level 3 P1. All the very best to my target speaker.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Neha. A round of applause to you. And our speaker for today comes with a very impressive resume. I would say this is the most Toastmasters-esque resume you'll ever actually find, if that's even a term. He is someone that has played numerous roles at our club, and he is actually in his current, this is his second stint as the president of the Speechweavers Toastmasters Club. We have successfully run over 703 meetings, and this is our 704th meeting. And Toastmaster Joseph has been part of this journey for a long, long time. I've been seeing him as a Toastmaster since March 2021, and I can tell for a fact that he is the most energetic Toastmaster you'll actually find. He's someone that can stand for an entire meeting. He's someone that can deliver speeches all day long, and he can tell stories all day long. And today he's presenting a speech titled A Tribute of Love. A Tribute of Love, Toastmaster Joseph. Over to you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I do not wish to ask that you have any tragedy story either in your family or friends. Like me, what I am going to see. When heaven proclaimed a man and wife in 1972, he was an answer to my prayer. Love at first sight lasted 41 years. Ever since then, he has become a reality in my life. We were made for each other. My life's first choice in all its glamour. The words flow from her lips, a fountain of honey and milk. She's an angel from above, a precious gift to love and cherish. We were united in our thoughts, words, and deeds. For generations to come, we will never have one indeed. I could ever write a song of our own love. A song that captured the beauty of sunrise and awakening of the world. Or it could be a love song that stood the test of time. Every beat of her heart had a story to tell. Every breath of hers is a sweet fragrance of life. Every spoken word are more adorable and wise. And every move is meaningful, denoting the art of life. When the overseas assignment was accepted, it was hard to part the queen of my heart. However, for the sake of better life, but we could not make it the last time ever after. We spent much of our treasured memories, such as the golden anniversary birthdays and silver weddings, and much more, the auspicious one, the milestone birthday of hers, 11/11/11, that has become a legend. The presentations that cherished, exchanged, has become a treasure. Every holiday we used to spend together, especially the Christmas season and the cold weather, making it more joy and happiness, delighted over the gift of Santa Claus, and that is me. Every child she is gifted with a beautiful life as a perfect mother, and her love for them has never ended till her last breath. The grandchildren were the nucleus of her life, the better grandmother the family ever had in its history. She was an eminence among the families and friends, an embodiment of a generous, noble, and humble. She lived a life of simple and serene. The worldly treasures she never kept. On a fateful day, when I was in Singapore, she was critically ill with a brain stroke, but God saved her life. I landed at her bedside with heart broke. Life cycles standard due to her loss of vision. At this moment of life, it was indeed my caring is required to take care of her like a baby with all the attentions and with utmost care within the life perfection. It appeared that she had made an appointment with the death. She spoke to that she will come back whenever she asked to her grandchildren, and to my children, she said that take care of your dad. I never thought that this could be so prophetic. In life, she ruled my heart, and she continues in her death. The golden memories that I have treasured cannot be eroded. In all my life, I only needed her, and she alone, I wanted her. But Jesus stretched his hands and embraced her as if he needed an angel in heaven. The Bethlehem star returned home, but not alive, but dead. And it was on the Christmas Eve, 24th December 2023. And this is what my story is about. Over to you, Evan.
A round of applause to Toastmaster Joseph. It was a very touching speech, without a doubt. I think the evaluator will have a lot to say about that. I'm just going to leave it to her to decide how the speech was. But on my end, I loved it. Thank you very much for that speech. And for our next speaker, who is Toastmaster Daksha, thank you very much for joining us and being our speaker for today. But I don't see your evaluator anywhere here. But you know what? I'll take up the role of your evaluator in today's meeting. I'm Adarsh, and I will be your evaluator. And today you are presenting your level 1. I think it's project 2, I believe. So the purpose of this project is to practice applying feedback and serve as a speech evaluator during a club meeting. The purpose of the speech is for the member to demonstrate the ability to deliver an effective, respectful speech. Now, this is her second speech under the project evaluation and feedback. So I'll be considering her feedback from the previous evaluation that was delivered, and I'll be delivering the best evaluation possibly. Toastmaster Daksha, I think I have a few interesting things to say about her because prior to the meeting, I spoke to her and I got to know some interesting things. She says that she started her career after graduating with McAfee Trilix as an order-to-cash operations analyst. I'd be interested to know what that is. Where I'm currently working at, and she loves reading, pop culture, cooking, and exploring new cafes. And being relatively new to Toastmasters, she's already played the role of a Vice President Public Relations at our club. And she's also the current Vice President Public Relations at our club, which is amazing to know. And she's also someone that's managing the public relations at Area B. That's quite a resume. Thank you very much for joining us, Toastmaster Daksha. Your speech is titled Love to the Cinema. Love to the Cinema, Toastmaster Daksha.
Okay, a quick audio and video check before I begin.
I think you're audible. Yes, you're very much audible.
Okay, cool. The most anticipated movie of the year just released, and you cannot wait to watch it. So now you're weighing two options. First, watch the movie from the comfort of your home after it starts streaming online. Or second, step out of your house, take a trip to the cinema, and check it off your watch list. What do? Can I get a quick show of hands from everyone who would like to watch the movie sitting at their home? Any responses? Just a raise. Okay, cool. Not too many responses, but given the title of my speech, my choice seems obvious, right? So yes, I would prefer to go to the cinema, but I may come off as a hypocrite because the last time I visited a cinema was 7 months ago to watch The Multiverse of Madness. It's common knowledge that COVID changed our world and dawned us into a new era that we now call the new normal. One of the many repercussions of this was a drastic behavioral shift in how people watch movies. The giant electric canvas was replaced by home streaming, and I too am a victim of that. In the mundanity of everyday life and spending weekends in goblin mode watching online content, I barely noticed how much of the cinema experience I was missing out on. All of this hit me only recently, and it made me so upset because a myriad of my core memories involved going to the movies. A big part of me realizes that in recent years, mainstream films have been struggling to find originality, and many people have been finding more of the stories and entertainment that they desire and speaks to them from television and streaming shows than the local cinema. In all fairness, I completely understand where they're coming from. In the past years, several of the most impactful stories for me have come from shows on TV or streaming sites. Yet, for me as a film lover, there was always something special about stepping into the theater and sitting in front of the giant electric screen, waiting for the previews to roll and the main picture to unfold. Regardless of whether the movie turned out to be great or a total disaster, I always appreciated the experience of watching the film with other people around me and hearing their laughs and gasps. There is something special about going to the cinema and the collective experience of watching a film. The mass intimacy and authorized voyeurism that comes with communal screens and laughter cannot be replicated easily. In fact, I argue that certain movies are meant to be seen and experienced in a theater instead of watching it at your home in your familiar space. Netflix watch parties will never be able to replace the social element of going to a cinema. So now, if I'm talking about the cinema experience, I can never not talk about Avengers Endgame. And what makes it so close to my heart is remembering watching it on the opening weekend and the thunder of applause and open enthusiasm that just erupted when that incredible climax began. I am not exaggerating when I say that the crowd went crazy when Cap lifted the hammer and rallied with the Avengers. Of course, what followed was a huge silence, and and it was a huge silence as my friend and I left the theater. Our throats were sore and our eyes were swollen because we had a good cry after what seemed like the end of a marvelous era. Not long after this, there was another movie, No Way Home. It's hard to think of anyone who will not say that it's a great movie, regardless of how you watch it. Yet, when I saw it for the first time on the big screen, my love and appreciation for it felt particularly special because I was seeing it with an audience who were laughing at the hilarious parts and stunned with appreciative silence and respect at the serious, heartfelt moments. It is a good movie anywhere, but it just felt so much larger and impactful in the cinema. It is worth noting that when we leave our houses at some expense, like tickets, food, parking, public transport, and gather at a cinema at a specific time, we are, by those very actions of expense and displacement, primed to see the movie in a much more expanded way. Technically, the quality of a film can now equal or exceed the quality at cinemas. But what at home viewing can never do is provide a communal experience to which we happily submit. So when we are in the dark with many other people, we are especially alert to these tiny signals from the audience that will trigger the group laughter, scream, or tears. At home, these signals are reduced proportionally. The larger the audience, the more likely it is that someone will get the joke early and that first laugh will trigger everyone else. Humans have been assembling in the dark since the beginning of time to listen to amazing stories. And to quote a renowned filmmaker, cinema is a high-tech manifestation of a storytelling tradition that is as old as humankind. It is indelibly part of who we are and how we bond with each other. The theatrical experience is a recreation of this primeval gathering, the flames of the campfire replaced by the shifting images that are telling the story itself. That is the sheer brilliance and magic of cinema. Although COVID has blown through the world, the state of cinemas is still in shambles. And as someone who has always found solace in movies and enjoyed escaping to theater away from the woes of the real world, I want to end by reminding you and myself to make some time and drop by the cinemas occasionally. Thank you, and back to you.
Thank you very much for that incredible speech. Toastmaster Taksha, it was a very cinematic experience. Now I'd like to call on the evaluator for the first speaker. Now, I think this is the fastest we've ever come to the evaluation session, to be honest. I would like to sympathize with Toastmaster Neha, who hasn't had enough time. But Neha, I'd like to hear from you on whether if you're ready with your evaluation report for the first speaker.
Can I get a couple of minutes more, Adarsh?
Sure, not a problem at all. Meanwhile, I'd like to call on our timer to present one half of your report, if that's all right. Toastmaster Utkarsha, I would like you to present your report as the timer.
So, our keynote speaker, DTM William, took 21 minutes, and Q&A session took 20 minutes. And for the speaker one, Toastmaster Joseph, he took 6 minutes and 40 seconds. And speaker two, Toastmaster Taksha, took 6 minutes, 50 seconds. Yeah, I'll be sharing this in the chat box for the reference.
Thank you for that, Toastmaster Taksha. I think playing the role of a timer is simply the hardest at any Toastmasters meeting because you have to be so alert. I have played the role quite a few times in my life, and I have misused the cards way too many times, far more times than I can remember. Fortunately for me, nobody recognized it, but I'm pretty confident there were some people in the room that did. And for those that did, I would like to apologize right away. Now I'd like to ask Toastmaster Neha, are you ready? Or do you want me to give you another minute?
No, I'm ready. All set.
All right, then, over to you.
Audible, visible?
Yes, you're audible.
A tribute of love. A heart of gold stopped beating, working hands at rest. God broke our hearts to prove He takes only the best. Toastmaster Joseph, your speech today truly touched my heart. The figurative language used to describe your wife in the beginning left me flabbergasted. The descriptive language, when you said sentences like heart to part, queen of my heart, an angel from above, absolutely caught my attention in that moment. I really liked the way you sequenced your entire speech, starting from who she was, the memories that you shared with her, building a family with her, and so on. I could sense your emotions throughout the speech. While it was a very heart-touching and an amazing speech, I just have two suggestions for you. The tone with which you gave the speech was a similar tone that you maintained throughout the speech. So my suggestion for you would be to bring variations in your tone every now and then, just to catch the audience's attention. For example, like she made an appointment with the death, or she ruled my heart and continues till date. So that variation in tone instantly catches audience's attention is what I feel. And my second suggestion to you would be maybe a little bit more of hand gestures and body language. Just these two suggestions. All in all, it was a very, very heart-touching speech. Looking forward to hear a lot more speeches from you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Neha. That was a delightful evaluation. A round of applause to our speaker and evaluator, Toastmaster Joseph and Toastmaster Neha, respectively. Now, to present my evaluation of the speaker, Toastmaster Taksha. Toastmaster Taksha, yes. That was a very energetic start to your speech. I think I like that quite a lot. I think that was the point that you really wanted to work on, right? But of course, there are some areas of improvement there, but I'll come to that gradually. But I'm going to go into those positives because there were tons of positives from your speech. There was a great usage of words as part of your speech. I also love the part where you tried to interact with the audience. Your attempted interaction with the audience where you requested them to answer a question by a show of hands. While nobody did, you still did a wonderful job in sort of going ahead with it. Because what happens with most people is we lose focus soon after when a bunch of people don't interact with us. I love your usage of vocal variety from time to time. I think probably at the start of the speech, I think there was some usage of vocal variety, and probably towards the end, there was a bit more usage of the same, which I like quite a lot. And I also love the part where you showed real conviction in your speech. I think you showed real conviction. And when I say conviction, I mean passion. It really seemed like you loved cinema. It really, really seemed like you were talking about a genuine experience. And you took us back to that time when you watched the Avengers movie, and you were able to integrate those experiences with your story. And that was enough to engage the audience. And I'm pretty confident that even DTM William would probably love that. I also love the part where you tried to picturize a scenario so that all of us could get an understanding of what it was like to exactly sit in the cinema. I think you said sitting in a cinema, watching the picture unroll. And there were a few more references, which I like quite a lot as part of your speech. Thank you for that. Now, moving towards some areas of improvement. Now, these are areas that I'd like for you to work on because in the previous speech, I think the evaluator had given a bunch of notes for you to work on, and I can tell that you've ticked some of the boxes. You've clearly ticked some of the boxes. Now, To get started, I think you'll be able to add more energy to your speech if you're able to stand up. I'm not sure if you're actually standing at this point. Are you standing or sitting right now? Okay, you're not standing. So there's no way to actually add energy to your speech than to stand up. It's a suggestion to myself as well because I'm seated right now. And I think your usage of gestures was actually brilliant. I think you were using your gestures, but unfortunately it was more wavery. I was not able to see the gestures. I think there was a time that your hand was literally below the screen. I was not even able to see you. So if you can work on those gestures, that is, if you can stand up again and position the camera in a manner where I can see you, I think you'd be able to add some difference there. And I think there was another point that I recognized during your speech, and that was your constant need to look down. I think I sensed you looking down on a few occasions, and that caused a disconnect. I'm not sure whether if you were fully prepared with your speech. I'm not sure. I mean, you seemed very confident when you spoke, but I think there were times where you were looking down. So maybe in case if you can memorize some of those lines, I think that will make a difference as well. I think overall, I think your speech was truly brilliant. And I think there were some areas for you to work on, but I think you've ticked some of the boxes from your previous speech, and congratulations on that. There were some areas where you really made a difference. I think the area where you truly added value to us was your passion, and the closing line where you urged people to go watch a movie at the nearest theater. Thank you for your amazing speech. I cannot wait to hear from you, and back to you. I'm sorry, back to myself, the venture. That was clearly an amazing speech. I think I'm going to go and do a redo of the evaluation, I believe. Now I'm going to quickly go ahead and call on, let me see, what else do we have in the agenda today? Yes, I'd like to call on our timer, Toastmaster Karsha, to share the rest of the report.
Yeah. So the evaluator of speaker 1, Toastmaster Neha, she took 1 minute 46 seconds. And evaluator for speaker 2, Taksha, Toastmaster Adarsh, you took 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Yeah, that's it from my side.
Thank you very much, timer, Toastmaster Karsha. It was an absolute pleasure to have you. And now I'd like to welcome DTM Milind Kulakar to deliver the vote of thanks in today's meeting.
Thank you, Event Chair Adarsh. I recall a movie which I saw a long time back, a Hindi movie. Our speaker 2 talked about cinema, so that's why I recalled. The movie was Hum Jodi, and there was a famous actor of those era. They used to say that one actor could take the entire movie along. There was no need for a hero. They can be there, they can be there, not there. And that actor was Mahmood. And in that movie, he had played 3 roles: son, father, and grandfather. And here it was Adarsh, the Zoom master, the event manager, the event chair, and of course, step-in evaluator too. This was what he did at the meeting. But before the meeting, ensuring everything was arranged, closely coordinated with our president, Toastmaster Joseph, who had made the point to ensure that the keynote speaker comes to us well before our speech contest starts. So it was a fantastic achievement by Toastmaster Adarsh to ensure that he made sure we had the meeting today and we had the keynote speaker, and where he took the 3 roles as a Zoom master, as a event chair, and again as a backup evaluator number 2. So let's give a round of applause to him. Now coming to Toastmaster Joseph. Joseph, sir, right from the beginning, when he took over the charge, he was very clear that he wants his term and our club to excel and to be taken to the greater height. And he knew that our contests are around the corner. So he has been going out of his way to make sure the best keynote speakers are there. And today, thanks to him, he made sure the keynote speaker was very much there and who gave us those secret tips. And then as a presidential address, he also talked about women empowerment, which was extremely inspiring. If you recall the grand contribution in our Indian culture that women has been a driving force. So that was really great. And Joseph sir was all over. He also became the speaker number 1, where he delivered his speech on his tribute to his love, again a woman. So the keynotes, the presidential address and his prepared speech had a synchronization effect. So thank you, Toastmasters Joseph, to ensure that we enjoyed the session and we are going ahead full of confidence for the contest season. Now coming to our keynote speaker, his 21 minutes master class on how an instant guide for an instant speaker. And he gave guides to everyone, be it a newcomer, just speak out of your heart. Don't bother of anything. And to an accomplished speaker, what they should do with nitty-gritties. And his address was on how to make your speech more powerful, because in a contest, everyone are good. So one has to be what they say as a pink umbrella in all the black umbrellas to stand out. And that was the tips which he gave. And fantastic tips which he gave about today was, in addition to opening, body, and conclusion we interacted, there has to be powerful content. And he made different techniques for that. He used the way a code name, AIDA, and I'm sure you got the thing. Attention, interest, desire, calling for action. That are the 4 tips for any speech. Grab the attention of the audience, get the interest of the audience, and what the desire is there, you want to communicate, and call for action. And then one more most important tip he gave was in single sentence: practice correctly. Practice correctly, because if you practice wrongly, there will be a challenge. And how to do that? Go to different audience, get the feedback. And in case you don't have any audience, go to your spouse or to your mother or your sister, your family members, because they can give you the right tips. And he also highlighted that presentation skills are not to learn. So that was something he shared with us beautifully. And one sentence which caught my attention: to start, you don't need to be good. But to be good, start now, not tomorrow. So thank you, DTM William Lim, for your 40 plus 40, almost 41 minutes power-packed presentation. And kudos to you that you are still waiting for us and you are open to seek any questions after the conclusion of the meeting. So that's really shows your sincerity and dedication for the audience who are there. And then came our prepared speakers. Of course, Joseph sir had highlighted. Thereafter, Taksha, the speaker number 2, she talked about cinema, which I touched upon, which recalled my days of going to a movie hall, and that was something beautifully. Her passion was great. Along with her passion and the speaker's passion, the passion of the evaluator, who were crisp to the point. And one good thing I liked about whether it was speaker and the evaluator, they stick to the timelines given as per the Toastmasters. So in case it is a contest, both of them are qualified, both the speakers as well as the evaluators, like Toastmaster Adarsh. He was 3 minutes, 30 seconds. If he had gone 1 second up, he would have been disqualified. Great job done. So I also would like to thank all the audience to make sure they ask questions and they put questions to our question and answer moderator, Nadian Seven, who picked up every question of them and took the trouble of putting it across to our keynote speaker and made sure their concerns and queries were properly answered by the keynote speaker. So thank you all for this excellent thing. And I look forward for a beautiful session going forward. And with this, I hand it back to the event chair.
Thank you very much, DTM Milan, for the vote of thanks and a round of applause to all of you. Now, there's just two things that are pending. By the way, there is a link that has been posted in the chat for you to vote for your favorite speakers and evaluators. Now, there is one catch. There was a time, I think there was an issue with the form. That's the reason why I was not accepting the responses for those that opened it. And now you can go ahead and open it and fill out the responses. And there's just one more thing that is pending. I'd like all of you to turn on your videos so that we can take a quick photo. I see Taksha, I see Neha, everybody, you can go on and turn on your videos and make your presence known. We're going to be taking a quick photo in a few seconds. I'm going to give you 10 seconds to turn on your videos. All right, then that is a 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. I think there's some people that are yet to turn on their videos. I'm not sure if they're going to do it. Guest Manoja, Smita, Shubhi, DTM, Kumar, Akshita, all of you are free to turn on your videos. Come on. Just 1 minute. I think I see Akshita was just turned on her video. I'm waiting for the others. Okay, I'm not going to wait any longer. I think it is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you very much. And I would like to hand over to Toastmaster Joseph, and I'll also announce the voting results. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, others, for conducting this wonderful meeting in a very, very progressive way. First of all, I would like to thank in bottom of my heart the keynote speaker, DTM Williams. This is the second time he has responded to me. Last time also, I was the president, I called him, and his quick response was so much. And his speech was on humorous speech contest. And he gave us a very, very interesting, and people wanted him to talk more and more, if I am not wrong. Today, he has given a very great enthusiasm and motivation to speak the way in which he has given us the all the tips that he has given so that we could win this speech. Thank you so much, William DTM, for the kind response and making our meeting a wonderful and a great educational session. I thank all the audience who have responded to our invitation and has taken away perhaps the well-given advice from the keynote speaker and follow it sincerely in your Toastmaster journey. I also thank all the non-Toastmasters also who have attended this, gracing the occasion into its maximum wonderful session, I would say. And last of all, I would thank all my beloved Toastmasters who has taken a role taker. In each one of them has given a wonderful way of the role, and the meeting went on very well in gracefully, which is always is the speech weavers. Every day, every meeting that went on good in all the speech meetings that we are conducting. Thank you so much. And I declare the meeting number 704 closed.
There's just one thing. Yes, a round of applause to everybody. But there's just one thing I forgot to announce the voting results. I hope I can take it up. The best speaker in today's meeting was yourself, Toastmaster Joseph. A round of applause to Toastmaster Joseph. The best evaluator in today's meeting was Toastmaster Neha Jain. Thank you for joining us at today's meeting. You were the best evaluator in today's meeting. And overall, I think people had good opinions about our meetings. So thank you for that. I think we had a 5-star rating from a bunch of them. So we're looking forward to bringing similar meetings in the upcoming weeks. And yes, but there's one catch, guys. There's just one catch, and that is the area wants to have the Zoom account. This Zoom account belongs to the area. They have another event coming. So unfortunately, we'll have to close things. But what you can probably do is, DTM William, you can probably go ahead and type your email ID in the chat so that we can send all the questions to you, all the pending questions that have to be answered. And everybody in the meeting room can quickly go ahead and put out your queries so that DTM William can answer them.